Is it time to sell everything?
The indicators are flashing. This might be the only opportunity to save your portfolio.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is your place for all things stocks and crypto. From beginner tips to expert picks. Use this as fuel for your investing journey, because when you're in the know, your money will grow.
This episode of the Bean Pod is sponsored by BitGet.
BitGet is the most user-friendly and secure crypto trading platform for both beginners and experienced traders.
BitGet is the best place to not only trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also all the small cap gems that we discuss every day.
With 24/7 customer support, leverage trading, and a wide array of other advanced features, BitGet sets itself apart from every other centralized exchange.
Through Beanstock's official partnership with BitGet, you'll receive 15% off all trading fees when you sign up using the referral link in the description.
All views expressed by speakers on the Bean Pod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the Bean Pod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is Shane, aka the Jolly Green Investor.
And this is Josh, the Nifty Investor.
This might be one of the most important emergency market updates we have ever done. Is now the time to sell everything, or is this one of the best buy the dip opportunities we've ever seen?
The indicators are flashing like crazy. Now it's time to figure out, look, there's blood in the streets. Is that an indicator to say, hey, now's the time to get out because there's a further crash incoming? Or is this the best opportunity to dollar cost average into some of your favorite stocks, cryptos, what have you? Right now is probably the most crucial junction we've been sitting at over the past year or so.
100%. So at times like these, it can be very tough. Investing is very difficult. It can be very strenuous on the mind. It's a mental game. When you see massive red candles, when you see your portfolio absolutely dumping, it can be tough. And, that's why it's called panic selling. People get into a panic. They say, the whole market's going to zero. Bitcoin's going to 10K. All my altcoins are going to absolute zero. Even though they're already down 25% in the day, maybe now is the time to sell. But one of the best things to do, and what we like to do at these times is, first of all, look at what the institutions are doing. Look at what's happened in the past when we see things like the VIX spike. Look at what happens in the past when we see massive red days in crypto, in Bitcoin, and altcoins. What happens for the 3 to 6 to 12 months after those big sell-offs? Is there a continued sell-off, or during a bull market, which it seems like we're still in, are these opportunities, right? So there's a lot to discuss. Make sure you watch this episode until the end.
So do you want to operate like a retail investor who's poor and broke? Or do you want to operate like an institutional investor like Warren Buffett, who has billions of dollars? Literally, because we can see people what you can go on chain, you can watch what a lot of these people are doing with certain altcoins. And we go on there, we can go on Dex Screen or either Scan, whatever. And we're like, this guy literally bought 8 days ago. And then when the market turned red, sold for a 50% loss.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you thinking? But what is Warren Buffett doing? What is he doing? He's selling at the peak top. He's selling when Apple shares hit the highest record ever. So we're looking at the recent sell-off that occurred. And during that time, retail had $1 billion in net selling. $1 billion in net selling.
That's a lot for retail.
What did the institutions do? $14 billion in net buying.
Of course.
When there's blood in the streets, it goes against your intuition. You're scared, you're fearful, all these things. The emotions start to kick in. But if you sit back and look at it objectively, it's a discount on your favorite altcoins, your favorite projects, your favorite stocks. You need to view it as an opportunity to get in at bargain prices.
100%. How do you think all of the richest people in the world, the most successful investors, how do they build their wealth up from hundreds of thousands to millions to billions? Do you think they're doing that by panic selling? By selling on the red days? No, they're selling on the massive green days, and they're buying on red days, and they rinse and repeat. And honestly, it is hard. It's easier said than done, right? To buy when it looks like, things are absolutely nuking. When you see that chart, just literally, last week or a few days ago, whatever it was, Bitcoin was down nearly 20%. Altcoins were down 20, some 30%. It was, that is the definition of a crash day. But again, you have to check your emotions at the door. These are still buying opportunities. It's our belief that we are still in a bull market, and there's a few indicators that we'll talk about later in this episode. But I think the message is that, look, watch what the institutions are doing. They're holding pat. They're buying. Retail are the ones selling, and retail, scared money, don't make money.
No, they're not making money. So the VIX just spiked to one of its record highs. It's only ever seen this this level like 3 other times. I went back and looked at the data. I wanted to analyze, all right, when the VIX spikes this high, how does the stock market do? And I'm using the stock market because it's been around a lot longer than the crypto market. So it's just a better indicator. And typically crypto will follow like what the stock's doing. So back in March, after the VIX spiked this high, ripped for 2 years after March 2020. December 2018, ripped for 2 years after the VIX spiked this high. February 2018, ripped for a year. August 2015, ripped for 4 months, ripped for 3 years. The last one, August 2011, ripped for 4 years. So every time we've seen this spike, the market has ripped for another, let's say 1 to 4 years.
Yeah.
I just see this as institutions using this as an opportunity to create mass fear, mass panic, create a 20% discount in everything and scoop up as much as they possibly can. What did we just see? $14 billion in buying.
Yep.
So
100%.
Look at history.
Yeah, and then you look at, again, speaking into macroeconomics as well, when you look at the stock market, when you look at the global liquidity cycle, like we've covered this on this show multiple times over the past year, you have to zoom out again. The global liquidity cycle, it goes in like 4 to 5 year cycles. I think the most amount of sideline capital almost ever is on the sidelines right now, several trillion.
$6 trillion.
$6 trillion is on the sideline right now, and we've just started to see an uptick of that money flowing back into the stock market, and typically the crypto and riskier assets will follow. So do you really want to be selling on a red day when the global liquidity cycle is turning up? And then another thing, when you look at what's happening this year, we have the United States presidential election coming up in November. Do you really think that the Democrats who are currently in are going to let the stock market completely crash before the election? They would almost assuredly be voted out if that's going to happen. So they're going to do whatever it is in their power to continue to prop up the stock market. And then if you look at who's favored to win the election right now, even though Kamala Harris has, done a good job of coming in and being competitive, the favorite is still, for the betting, it's Trump. So Trump is still the betting favorite. And, we don't have any political bias on the show. We're just saying Trump is famously pro-crypto. So if you think that he is the betting favorite to win the next campaign, and he is pro-crypto, you'd have to think that is still bullish for crypto, right? Bitcoin pumped when he was speaking at Bitcoin Nashville. It dumped after, leading into this crash. But if you do think he's going to win, it has to be seen as bullish for crypto, at least in the short term. Politicians are famous for flip-flopping, and maybe he won't actually do anything he says. But for the next year or so, it'd have to be bullish because he says he's going to do these things. So that's the opportunity we're looking at.
So Democrats can't let the stock market shit the bed. And if they do, that's good for looking at maybe Trump winning. So it's going to be like a pro no matter what heading into the election, in my opinion. Typically, the stock market, crypto market does extremely well September, October.
That's right.
Going into November, we should at least see in our 3 months of tailwind. I also see the DXY trending down. I also see, like you said, the M2 supply going up. Two great things for risk on assets. There's a lot of like really positive things in terms of like we've seen we're pretty much at the lowest unemployment rate in the U.S. that the U.S. has ever really seen. Part of that is because people are working multiple jobs. However, the data is still showing, it's really low. So in theory, the economy is still looking quite strong.
Yeah, and then when you go back towards crypto-specific indicators, so one, we have the Ethereum ETF, which just started trading, and it's almost following the same path as the Bitcoin ETF when it started trading. So Bitcoin ETF was approved, then it went live. We saw a massive dump for Bitcoin until the institutions really started buying, and then it pumped all the way up to 75K, right? We saw the Ethereum ETF go live, and Ethereum's now dumped. It dumped all the way down to like 2,300 in that crash last week. And now what I think we're going to see is institutions start to buy Ethereum, and the inflows are going to significantly increase. And then you've also heard chatter about now maybe a Solana ETF is next, or maybe this ETF. So I think we're going to continue to see tailwinds from institutions putting capital into the market via the ETFs. I don't think the Ethereum ETF has nearly been priced in. I think people are underestimating the amount of capital that's going to flow in there. I think it's, again, Ethereum specifically, it's a buy the dip because that ETF, that really hasn't gotten going yet. And all the Ethereum-based altcoins, which some of the best altcoins that we love are on Ethereum, I think you're going to see tailwinds from those as well.
Yeah, look, after the Bitcoin ETF hit, we saw Grayscale dumping mass amounts of Bitcoin. Bitcoin dumped 21% over the next couple of weeks before rallying 90%. What's Ethereum doing now? It saw a 30% dip. Do you think after seeing the playbook, after seeing Grayscale dumping, that you're going to see BlackRock and the other ones pile in at the same magnitude, or are they going to wait till Grayscale's finished dumping before buying?
Yep.
Wouldn't that make a lot more sense?
I think so.
I think we're going to start to see that inflow start to increase. And then, like you said, there's 120 million ETH holders now, DeFi ETH holders. TradeFi is going to put in all this liquidity. Think about what all the DeFi holders are going to do. They're going to start using that Ethereum to start buying and pumping Ethereum shitcoins. Yeah. You know, like that's just essentially what I think is going to happen. When Ethereum pumps to like 7K, a lot of that's going to be utilized for, you know, a bunch of the different altcoins out there. So now is not the time, in my opinion, to be selling those coins.
Yeah. So like, is it the time to sell everything? Like we asked at the start of the episode. I think the resounding answer for us is no. I think we're still in a crypto bull market. I think we're going to see tailwinds both in the macro economy and also in the crypto specific. And then when it comes to like potential exit strategies, right? So this is something we've been talking about privately for a bit. We wanted to kind of discuss it on the show today. So if, you know, our thesis comes true and we continue to see a pump through the second half of 2024 here, what are some of the ways that you would look to scale out of some of your tokens? So, you know, let's take a few of the tokens that we hold large bags of that we've been talking about for multiple years, or at least the greater part of this year. Stuff like BitTensor or AxonDAO or Ondo or CoreDAO, right? So say you got in early like we did when, you know, BitTensor was at $50 or whatever, or AxonDAO when it was way below like a half a cent, CoreDAO when it was well below $1. You know, what are some of the strategies that we would employ to start to scale out or take profits or exit those positions over the next, say, 6 to 12 to 18 months?
Well, again, it looks like what's your time frame, right? Like I remember I was buying Ethereum back in 2016, 2017, held that for 5 years. I was able to get in at primarily around $200-300 and start getting out at like 5K when that mass like hysteria came in. You know, I was like, oh my God, or euphoria, sorry. So with AxonDAO, for example, I see that this is a team that's been building since 2012, right? They're forming the partnerships. They're getting these institutional investors. Healthcare is already having a bit of a detriment, if you will. There's people leaving the industry. AI is just now starting to get into the healthcare system. So this is the perfect merger. Didn't we see something about NVIDIA, like talking about how they're looking to AI to improve healthcare?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are they already working with? We're working with AxonDAO.
Yeah.
You know, so an AxonDAO, this is something I can see it as a $1 billion company. So I don't know, that puts AxonDAO the price of like $2 or something like that. I can't remember, $2 to $3. Yeah, I can see it sitting at that price range. There's no reason why AxonDAO can't be $1 billion company,
for sure.
In my opinion, like this is one of those 3 to 5 year holds. I think that it could hit that mark.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, these are legitimate companies with real teams with massive catalysts. People forget how early and small cap and, you know, how much roadmap that AxonDAO is ahead of it. The token only launched a few months ago in February, March, right? So you see the catalysts that are ahead with, you know, potential tier 1 centralized exchange listings, huge partnerships coming through, potential official NVIDIA partnership, healthcare avenue, institutional capital inflow, tons of stuff. So I think AxonDAO, like, you know, I think it's a longer term play beyond like 3 to 6. We see people day trading this token. Yeah, it's like that is how you lose your money.
Yeah, that's how you lose.
And obviously, this is not financial advice. We're just sharing what we are personally doing. But we think this is a multi-year hold AxonDAO. And then the same thing for things like BitTensor. Like, you have to remember that BitTensor, again, this is still early stages.
It's early project.
It hasn't even gone through its first halving. It has the same tokenomics as Bitcoin. So we're going to see the first BitTensor halving in late 2025. And that's going to improve the tokenomics, decrease the supply of Tau. And I think you're just starting to see mass adoption with all these subnets. We're starting to see consumer-facing applications being built using the BitTensor algorithm, like BetTensor and Taushi and that Dalebot and all that kind of stuff. So you just see, like, and then with CoreDAO, like, you start to see institutions that are going to be buying Bitcoin and staking Bitcoin via CoreDAO or Ondo Finance, and you see BlackRock working with Ondo Finance. These are longer term holds. So we're not saying, look, oh, if Bitcoin goes back to 75K, we're going to dump our bags in 3 months. Yeah. No, these are longer term holds with legit teams, real companies that are being built.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, look, we've been very public. I believe BitTensor should go to 4 to 5 figures. You know, I can see it getting to $1,000, $5,000 in price. I'm staking right now, so I'm seeing a Tau every couple of days. Yep. So I'm happy to hold this, and you know, in 2 to 3 years, because of all the tailwinds that we just talked about, liquidity cycles, etc. These Tau that I'm earning every other day is worth $10,000 a week. Yep. So why would I sell that? 100%. Why wouldn't I just hold it? Yeah. You know, same with AxonDAO. Like, when I know that institutional money is coming into it, why would I sell that? When I see that $1.8 billion has been tokenized through Ondo Finance already and BlackRock, why would I sell that? They just said they're going to tokenize everything. It's trillions of dollars. Yeah. So in theory, all these tokens the real ones with docs teams, good tokenomics, etc., should do quite well.
Honestly, I think their attention spans have been so warped by social media and TikTok and Instagram Reels that people can't even pay attention for more than 15 seconds. So their investing timelines have been shortened significantly. Whereas like back in the day, people's investment, in the stock market, your timeline is 5 years, 10 years, right? People are buying. This is how Warren Buffett and these institutions make generational wealth. They buy good companies and they hold it for a long period of time. But what we're seeing when we look at DexScreener and we look in our Discord and we look in our communities and we look on Twitter is people day trading small caps. You're never going to find a 100x if you buy something at 5 cents and sell it at 4 cents 3 fucking days later.
Yeah.
Like it's just, we see it and it's just become more prevalent. And I think people's short attention spans and just all of the garbage you see on social media has significantly, increased and is really affecting people's brains. And we caution against this stuff. Day trading small caps and selling for losses after a week or 2 week hold, that's just how you go broke.
Yeah.
You're losing money on gas fees. You're losing money on slippage for small caps especially. You're just literally wasting your money. So look, if you want to do that, then continue to do it. But I'm telling you, that's how you lose your money.
And, your portfolio should start to get a little bit smaller over time. Like, we started off in the beginning with like 20, 30 tokens. But now our portfolio is sitting at like 8 to 10 tokens. So when there are all these dips, it's like, yeah, look, if AxonDAO goes down or Ondo goes down, I'm so happy to toss in a 5 to 10K or something like that. Just like bring my average cost down. So it's like if I was getting Ondo at $1, it's like now it's at 60. I'm like, fuck. Now I'm getting at like a 75-cent average.
Yeah, 100%. Another one's like block asset, right? Like you're looking at the number one crypto casino built on Solana, UFC partnership, and people are buying and day trading this thing and selling for a 10% loss after a week. It's just like, it's tough to see. We talk about it. We try to caution against it, but I want to continue to drive this point home. You're never going to make it if you don't have a long-term thesis in investing. That goes for stocks, that goes for crypto. Day trading is not the way to do it, especially with small caps. You're just going to suck yourself dry, lose your money on gas fees and slippage, and then it's going to pump when you're going to sell it, and it's going to pump. It's just how you lose your money, so I caution against that. You have to be patient, both in small caps, mid caps, large caps. Be patient with the market. It is our opinion that we are still in a crypto bull run. We still have so many positive tailwinds, both in the macroeconomy and in crypto. So is it time to sell everything? No, I think you should be continuing. These dips are opportunities. The institutions are clearly treating these dips as opportunities.
Yeah, they have been.
And you need to act as an institution if you want to become rich.
It makes me think, like, why did they buy $14 billion worth net buying on this dip? Is that because they think the market's going to dump tomorrow? Or do they think, and these guys have longer term mindsets too, right?
Yeah.
Why did they do it?
And they have insider information.
Yeah. Why did they do it? Clearly, I think we have a little bit more runway left. So
yeah,
now's the time. It's like anytime I see a dip, it's like I'm buying more.
Yeah, for sure. I think honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we see new Bitcoin all-time highs this year in 2024 in the run-up to the election. And a lot of these losers that have sold their bags at the bottom, they're going to be sidelined. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, look at the Bitcoin miners. They stopped selling. They're buying. They're adding new miners. Like, why are they doing that? Look at the big players.
Yeah,
look at what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. So look, hey, if you have a different opinion than us, if you agree with us, if you think you know where the market is headed next, leave a comment. We always want to know what your feedback is.
Yeah, and then tune into the next episode.
That one is going to be a banger.
All views expressed by speakers on the BeanPod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the BeanPod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.